Emma remained silent. The pause stretched on, and the envoys of King Nut of England began to exchange anxious glances. What could they expect from this woman? She had been widowed because of their sovereign, and now that same sovereign was offering Emma of Normandy his hand in marriage. Of course, this was just a pretty phrase. In reality, Nut cared only for the peace of his eastern shores. If Emma agreed, there was a chance the Normans would refrain from fighting the English. Everything now depended on the decision of this fair-haired woman. "I will accept your king's proposal," Emma said firmly. "I will be arriving in London very soon." The daughter of the Norman count, Emma was born at the end of the 10th century and was a direct descendant of the Viking Rollo, who once pledged allegiance to the King of France. The Viking would have been proud of his great-granddaughter. Proud, intelligent, and beautiful. A true daughter of the North, Emma was a tall, fair-haired girl with striking blue eyes that seemed to reflect the very sky. Along the shores of Normandy, Danish marauders often took refuge, enjoying raids on English villages. To put an end to this chaos, King Athelred of England decided to marry the Norman countess. This union would signify that Normandy did not condone the plundering of its kin. They struck a deal in the year 1002. 20-year-old Emma arrived in London to become the Queen of England, the second wife of the widowed monarch. The groom was so taken with her that a lavish mourning gift was prepared for her. Estates in Winchester, Suffolk, Oxfordshire, Devonshire, and an entire city, Exeter. Emma bore 3 children, sons Alfred and Edward, and a daughter, Goda. She had little interest in politics, nor was she allowed any power. The king had been overshadowed by his mother for so long that he was now eager to rule independently. Emma's husband earned the nickname Unready from his descendants for good reason. He ruled poorly, failing to manage the Danish raids, and when he decided to simply eradicate all Danish inhabitants of his kingdom, he provoked rebellions and foreign invasions. King Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark and Norway came to the defense of his brethren. Athelred was completely unprepared for this. The entire royal family had to flee to Emma's relatives in Rouen. 2 years passed in a state of terrible tension as the former King of England tried to gather an army to fight the invader. He almost succeeded, especially since his enemy Sweyn soon died. But the health of the English king was also compromised. He died, leaving his wife Emma with no chance of returning to England. The issue was that the king had children from his first marriage. There was also the heir of King Sweyn, named Nut. After lengthy disputes among the English nobility, the throne was given to Nut. The young Danish-Norwegian prince, who donned the crown in London, exhibited a rare sense of reason, unlike Emma's previous husband. He immediately concerned himself with the security of his kingdom, realizing that the greatest threat could come from Normandy. He believed he could negotiate with his fellow Danes, even the most notorious among them. However, on the other side of the channel resided a family connected by blood to the exiled English king, a lineage known for its stern temperament and considerable influence. Nut decided it was time to forge a dynastic alliance with the Normans. Emma agreed to become Nut's wife. She had no prospects left in Normandy. However, there was a condition. Her sons from her first marriage would remain on the continent and would not lay claim to the throne. The former Queen of England traveled to London, where the wedding ceremony took place. Though the marriage was purely political, King Nut proved to be a considerate husband. He confirmed Emma's rights to all the land she had received as gifts from her first husband, provided her with a suitable allowance, and treated her with great respect. The following year, Emma bore him a son, named Hardicanute, who was destined to become the King of England after his father. Emma's children remained in Normandy, and it would be years before they were allowed to visit their mother. When they finally met, the reunion was cold. Alfred and Edward had grown distant from Emma, both feeling that she had treated them unfairly. To make matters worse, one night, while both princes were asleep, they were attacked on Hardicanute's orders. Emma's son from her second marriage saw his half-brothers as rivals and resolved to eliminate them. Alfred sustained severe injuries and later died, while Edward managed to escape. But difficult times also awaited Emma's younger son. King Nut passed away, and the nobility was divided over who should be recognized as the heir: Hardicanute, or an illegitimate son of the king, who also had a claim. For several years, chaos ensued regarding the succession, culminating in Hardicanute's death and the ascension of Emma's elder son from her first marriage. Prince Edward waited patiently for his moment. In the year 1043, he was proclaimed ruler of England, as he remained the only direct heir of the Anglo-Saxon rulers. However, as soon as he ascended the throne, the new king accused his mother of plotting against him. Emma of Normandy was arrested not for any scheme she had woven, but because her son was punishing her for years of indifference. He stripped her of her estates and allowed her to live a modest life in a monastery. The former Queen of England passed away 9 years later. Just 14 years after her death, the English throne was claimed by her distant nephew, William the Conqueror. But that is quite another story.